evening, everybody, and welcome to Checkered Flag E streaming for this, the inaugural round of the Aussie Outlaws series. Yes, it is the Aussie Outlaws Daytona 500 Shootout here tonight. I am, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with the up here in the booth, being joined by the man himself, Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to finally get the season underway and off to a nice little bit of a difference tonight with having a shootout instead of the twin duels.
Yeah, so a little bit different in the fact we're going to have everybody out there getting their qualifying positions tonight, trying to work out where they want to start. Other than the front row, of course, that has been locked out. Paul Drady will be starting on pole with Phil Otto on his outside for tomorrow's big race, the 500.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, Phil has had a slight operation on his ear, so he's chosen not to race tonight. But as you said, he is locked out the front row with Paul, so we will see him tomorrow night. The other people that are missing tonight is a couple of our Americans. Bit of a stupid o'clock over there. It's 2 a.m. So they'll elect to race from the rear of the field tomorrow. I know Russell Brack from the SRM team. He's caught the flu from his kids, so he made contact with me today and said, look, he's going to choose to start from the back. Our other American we can see there, the 27 of Derek Jacobs. It's 2 a.m. over there right now for him, so well done for him for getting out here, and we should see him do a good job tonight.
Absolutely, they're all getting ready, and look, the shootouts and the duels for Daytona are very important little races because it just gives a bit of an opportunity for the drivers to get a little bit of a warm up, get an idea of how the cars are going to handle, how everything is going to work out, how they've got everything set for the big race tomorrow, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing too, Carl, is a bit of a change in the way we do things here now. We are now 100% per real life. We are 100% open setup, 100% race distance, 100% tyre allocations. So it is almost like racing in the real world, but from your living room.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big old season. Let's start by running through the starting grid for this, the duel. And this is where they qualified, of course. So Paul Drady up at the front with Derek Jacobs just behind him on the first row. Second row, we got Steve Hoppett up with Phil Butler. Norman Clark and Tristan Koch make up row number 3. Row number 4, we got Luke Georgeson with Scott Lefebvre. It's Carl Needler even, there we go, on the 5th row with Justin Allen. Brett Campbell with Mark Smith on row number 6. Row number 7 is Jamie Nankervis with Wayne Van Billion. On row number 8 is Jared Williams with Luke Yeager. Row number 9 is Tom Williams with Mr. Matty Hunter. And row 10, rounding us out, is Jason Nicholas tonight. 19 cars out there wanting to get a good starting position for tomorrow's race, and it can be crucial just to get that and just get a good position for the race to get underway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here. I know Paul's elected to run tonight. He's using that as a test session for tomorrow night. So his teammate Mark Smith starting further down the back. He'll be looking at to getting some testers laps in and moving forward. It really is important on where you start the 500 tomorrow night, Carl. The further up the front, the less chance of getting involved in anything.
Yeah, that's it. It can be a great advantage starting from the front of the big race, because it does mean you're going to likely avoid any big checkups and big accidents at the start of the race. But well, it's always about finishing the race, not by starting it. But starting from pole can just give you that little distinct advantage sometimes.
Yeah, and look, keep an eye out on those 4 Toyotas there of Valve Esports. Two very seasoned veterans in there in in Jamie Nankervis in the 8 car and the 09 of Norman Clark. So they'll be looking to settle down their younger counterparts. So keep an eye out for those, because they're joined by 2 rookies in Jarrett Williams and Scott Lethborough. So we're about to go green, Cole, and I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, as they come up to the line for the first time tonight, pace car will be pulling in here for this 60-lap shootout race. Who is going to take victory here tonight? We're going to get to see how these cars are running, how they're set up, who has got a fast one tonight. At the moment, we know Drady has got a very quick car, and he gets away nicely. A big leap there at the start, gets away a big gap from behind, leaving Steve Hoppett in his dust, and that's going to give Derek Jacobs the chance to slot down on the low line instantly. He gets in right behind Drady there and gets his position sealed.
Yeah, great start by Drady. He did say to me the other night that he believes he's got a rocket ship in that Chev. So be careful and keep an eye out for him to really push the envelope tonight.
Yeah, he's got a good opportunity here tonight, and we know that he is very good at keeping that car up the front. He is a very quick driver indeed, Paul Drady, and he will be hoping to take advantage of that, hoping his teammate in Mark Smith can actually work his way up the field a little and get himself a bit closer to the rest of the pack as well, and hopefully they can start linking up and working with each other for this race. So we are coming in second lap here, and the low line is starting to form up. If you're new to NASCAR, new to oval racing, then you are new possibly to super speedways. They're a little bit different to your regular run ovals in the fact that you're pretty much flat out all the way through. You do not need to worry about brakes. It's all about throttle management here. Up the front, Paul Drady will be absolutely foot to the floor, trying to put that accelerator pedal through the firewall. Back behind, though, it's all about keeping your foot in the right position. A lot of these drivers will be sitting at about 70-75% throttle further down the field, and you've just got to keep the car travelling at the right speed. You want to keep close to the car in front, keep the car behind close as well, but also make sure you don't hit them too hard in the back. So you've got to get everything just right, and that's sometimes a tricky thing to do. It's very easy to make a mistake, and at the moment a couple of cars in an unenviable spot just up on the high line is Norman Clark with Tristan Koch. There's just the 2 cars up there at the moment. They're doing a pretty good job of running at speed at the moment. They're not losing the pack, but they are going to be using up a lot more fuel and not in an enviable spot. If they can link themselves down low, they will be trying to, I'm sure. And you can see that one of Norman's teammates might try and link him in a little bit of time, just try and slot that car down low just in this initial stages of the race. You don't want to be running too hard too quickly. It's a long race to go. 60 laps around here is a long race. Tomorrow it's going to be even longer with 250. But you can't win it in the first couple of laps. You can sure as heck lose it.
Yeah, definitely right, Carl. And we can see here some of these teams have played really nasty tricks on us. All of our V-Sports cars are almost identical, except for a few of them have got a different tyre colour. And the Quantum Motorsports guys have all got the same paintwork. So good luck with that through the year, Carl, when I'm a bit busy on the cameras and you're trying to call them out.
Absolutely, it means I'll have to actually look at things. I can't rely just on paintwork. But yeah, it is nice. There's some really pretty looking cars out here tonight, some great paint jobs, and some really nice looking liveries. And a lot of these boys, they sort of, a lot of them do their own liveries, and a lot of them get outsourced as well. And there's some really nice jobs being put on. Up on the high line, though, they're starting to link up, and look who's come up there. Valve Esports linking up all of their cars by the looks of it. Trying to get close as, oh, who was that just touching the wall back there? One of the team. It was Jared Williams, just giving the wall a big clobber in the 96, and that's damaged the right front of that car. Hopefully, it's just a little bit of cosmetic damage. Hopefully, it's just a bit of stretching along the paintwork. But You do not want to do that too often here at Daytona, as it will affect the car's handling, and any damage to the front will affect you badly with drag.
Yeah, just looking at there, it doesn't look too bad. We'll see if we can get a front-on shot from it and just see how much damage has been done to that right front. From that shot there, Carl, it doesn't look too bad. It's more probably he's just narrowed the wheel arches up a little bit, so that won't be too bad.
No, he's gotten away relatively scot-free there. It looked a lot more of a heavy impact than it actually was, so he got away relatively cleanly there, and you don't get too many opportunities of clipping the wall at Daytona and surviving. You've got to be absolutely perfect, but you want to run close to that wall, try and get as much speed in these cars as possible. Got too wide at the moment. Somebody else just gives the wall a little knock down there at the back.
That was Tom Williams, mate, in the quantum. No, sorry.
I think it was Brett Campbell, just at the back of the pack in the quantum car. So Brett just giving the wall a little rub in the 015 as well. So it's been a couple of cars just getting sucked up to that wall. And look, we see it often here at Daytona. You've got to be careful, because sometimes, especially on that high line, the car can just get a little bit leery, especially when you're running next to some cars below you, and you find yourself wandering up very quickly and giving that safer barrier a little bit of a tag.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I know too. We talk about him a fair bit. It's good to see that 48 car out there, that Ford Mustang of Matty Hunter, deciding to have a break from the comms booth a little bit this year, and looking at getting out and doing some more racing. And it's great to see him out there on track in that Discount Tyre Pennzoil back car.
Absolutely. He's up here in spirit, though, because he's the one that does all the overlays and all the pretty graphics on screen. So his hard work is still up here in spirit, but it's lovely to see him back out on track, actually getting a chance to race. It's something that you tend to not get too many opportunities to do when you're broadcasting. You have all your lovely sim rigs sitting around and no real use for it a lot of the time because you're too busy calling races. So it's good to see the 48 back out on track. I know he's been doing a lot of practice in the Kiwi leagues as well, because he is over in New Zealand, and it's a little bit later there than the rest of Australia as well. So a big shout out to all our Kiwi contingent, because it does drag on a little bit. Gets very late in the evening there once these races finish.
Yeah, definitely right. Start bring up his speed. Great speed out of that Mustang. 314 k's top speed at the moment. So he's definitely getting the move on.
Yeah, it's looking pretty settled, and that's a good sign as well, because, well, as you said at the start of the show, Mark, we are running open setups now. So it's very much a thing of you've got to have that car set up right, and there's so many things that you can get wrong on a setup for Daytona. If you get that gearing ratio just set up just one bit wrong, you can be out by just one click on the gearing ratio and find yourself struggling to keep pace with the leaders.
Yeah, we can see back up the front here, Derek Jacobs, our only American driver in the race tonight, really giving Paul Drady the hurry up in that Lucas Oil shed.
Yeah, he seems pretty happy, and that car looks pretty stable in the bump draft as well, so that's a good sign for tomorrow's race. You want a car that's going to be good in the draft pack and good pushing, as well as being pushed as well. And it's all crucial little things like that you've got to get right in the setup. If you set up the cars a little bit too low, they can be an absolute handful around here. If you set them up a bit too high, then they're going to be slow. It's getting that balancing act just absolutely perfect. And then, of course, as you're driving round, your tyres heat up, you get more tyre pressure, and that raises the car up a little bit, so you've got to get all of that right as well. So you might have a car that's a little bit low on the restarts and takes a couple of laps to become good, but then it's absolutely perfect. Or you might have a car that's absolutely perfect on the restarts and then just struggles with top-end speed after about 5 or so laps. So all little crucial bits to get it set up. Looking back in the field, Needler has just dropped back off the pack. He's just within draft range still, so he should be able to close up with the rest of the field there. Everybody keeping close at the moment. Nobody's fallen off the pack as of yet, but it just takes a little lapse of concentration, just one little mistake, and you can find yourself falling off the back of this draft pack and falling down very, very quickly indeed. Getting up to speeds of around about 319 kilometers per hour at the moment, way up there in speed. And as soon as you drop off the pack, you'll drop down to about 280. You just hit a big wall of air, and all of a sudden, you do not have the RPM to help you out, and the car just absolutely dies on you. So, keeping in the draft pack is crucial indeed.
Yeah, definitely right. And we can see there the top speed for Carl around the 310 at the moment. So he needs to definitely keep within the striking range of Tristan Koch in front of him. The two Valve Esports cars there of Norman Clark and Jarrett Williams are sitting there on the outside, just having difficulty picking up that last car in that row. The 72 of Jason Nichols. Good to see him able to get out there and race. We seen him last year in an Anzac race celebrate 25 years service in the Royal Australian Navy. So, Jason, thank you for your service. And keep up the good work, mate. Hope there's many more years there in the Navy for you. So good to see him back alongside and having a run with us tonight. He's another one that doesn't really get out too often because of his Defence Force commitments.
Absolutely, it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes when you're in the Defence Force. You tend to have better things to do than get out and do some virtual motor racing, unfortunately. Although I think that we should look at nagging the Australian Navy to start putting sim rigs on ships for all those seamen out at sea, so they can get some fun times out there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you see there a little bit of teamwork happening. Although Tom Williams in the number 5 Chevrolet didn't take up the opportunity to jump up on that high line, and we can see that second high line now starting to form again. The one person I will jump back to, Carl, is our old mate in the Mad Dog Racing, Steve Williams. Sorry. He's going to shoot me for that. Steve Hoppard.
It's not good enough, Mark. That's it. Hang your head in shame.
Yep, definitely will. Good to see him out. He's not a fan of this car, but he has said to me secretly that he's going to try and make as many rounds of the Aussie Outlaws Lucas Oils Cup Championship as he can. So good to see him back out there having a good run at the moment. I'm touching as much wood as I can at the moment that I haven't jinxed him. So
somewhere on iRacing, Stevie Williams has just had a massive crash. Just looking back, unfortunately, Luke Georgeson in the 274 quantum entry, he had a massive blink and he's dropped off the pack. So just a little bit of connection issue there for Georgeson, and that has dropped him off the pack. So that's going to be a long race now, 17 laps into this stint. He's going to have a long, lonely time out there unless we get a caution.
Yeah, definitely. Not the way you want the race to go for you. Unfortunately, it is going to be an extremely long night. He's got to stay out there and do some test laps. Make sure this car is working well for tomorrow night. We do have 28 entries in tomorrow night, so let's hope everyone can make it for tomorrow night.
Meanwhile, up the front, Norman Clark getting a huge push from Lefebvre and getting up to the lead. And keep an eye on this 09. We've seen it has some good pace, especially in these qualifying races. In the ANSCAR series last weekend, we saw Norman Clark taking victory in the duel there. So we know that car is good and has got some good pace. And now Norman's actually in the Toyota as well. So he's jumped into the Toyota from the Mustang. So this will be a very different car to run. But we do know from Valve Esports that they have got that car set up very, very well, and they're feeling much more happy with it as well. So hopefully that will continue in this race, and they are looking very good at the moment. Meanwhile, Drady's jumped up back high in front of Koch and getting a good run up there, trying to get himself back into the front of the line. Can't quite manage it this time round as Valve Esports drops down low and take the low line lead.
I think we'll just see everyone settle in for the time being, Carl. We've seen last week, we got told a little bit of a fib on fuel mileage, so I can't really bring that to you at the moment. I am waiting for someone to get back to me with on their fuel, but I think we've seen around 40 laps out of these cars.
Should be about 40-45 laps, I think, from memory. It was last week, so I mean that's a whole week ago. So my brain does not remember that far back. But yeah, it depends on where you're running in the pack as well. So about 40-45 laps, I think they were managing pretty easily. We were expecting about 35 to 40, but they were running a little bit longer than that. So expect to see some boys further back in the pack, maybe extending to about 46, possibly even 47. It can be done, but you've got to be really, really good on that throttle and just keeping it singing at a nice position, not at full throttle, so not to use up as much fuel as possible. And there are some good fuel savers in that pack.
Yeah, one of them's out the front at the moment, so he won't be doing too much fuel saving out there.
Oh, look, it's Norman, so he will. Somehow he'll still get an extra 2 laps over everybody else because he just manages it somehow. Norman Clark is one of the great fuel savers out there, and he absolutely pulls the rabbit out of the hat sometimes. You just sit there wondering, how did he manage to save so much fuel with keeping up that speed? It's one of those unknowns.
Yeah, it's a magic trick. Derek Jacobs again having a great run. Dropped down one spot down the third, but we're still a long way from the end. So be good to see him have a great run tonight.
Yeah, and that car's looking really good out there tonight as well. Derek Jacobs looking very settled in that car, and doesn't have. I don't think he's got anyone with him tonight, teammate-wise. So he's got a good position in that car as a bit of a solo runner, and obviously it is set up absolutely to his liking. And it looks to be running really, really good in the front of the pack and with a couple of cars in front of it as well. So that's really crucial information for the race tomorrow because that car is looking absolutely solid. I'd like to see it up on the high line a little bit, see how it runs up there. But at the moment, it is running the low line absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. We found that we seen last year in a couple of leagues, Derek struggled with the fixed setup, but the open setup seems to be the way to go with Derek, and he's always any league I've seen him run in that's been open setup has been a great result for him. A few people have asked us why have we gone open setup. We've just felt that this year, Carl, that we needed to go open setup. A lot more leagues are going that way. The competition is a lot stronger, I believe, with the open setup. Then we've taken it to that next step, full race distances. So I know we've got about a 15 to 20 committed guys that is going to try and run every round this year, and we've also introduced the playoffs at the back of the season.
Yeah, it does really change things up, and look, it does appear scary as well, open setup to a lot of people, but there are some really good resources online. Even if you don't want to pay anything, there are some good free resources online as well, with some sort of open setup options, some very good options out there. You just need to hunt away on Google a little bit, but they give you a really good option to start with, and you can then just tweak it a little bit yourself or leave it alone, and you sort of still be fairly competitive, but it does just force you to learn a little bit more about how race cars work. And if you can start to learn how to set up a race car, it's going to help you improve so much more, even in fixed setup races, because you know how to drive around some problems, and you also know what's wrong with the car, so you can sort of go, well, okay, this car's not working for me. It's not that I'm slow, it's just that this setup's not very good. or vice versa. You really get a good understanding, and it can really help you improve as the seasons go on. So it's a fantastic option to switch to that open setup.
Yeah, it definitely is. The one thing that the admin have done with the Aussie Outlaws, they, they've they've decided to give a reasonably good race setup that everyone can use. So everyone's got a head start, and then they can go play Tinkerbell with it, and just fine tune it to the way they like it. Um, so great work from the some of the boys in the field to come up and do that for the guys that don't have the access to open setups.
That's it. Not everybody has the time to tweak setups as well, because it is a lengthy process to get a car absolutely perfectly set up. So having that option in the background as well is a fantastic thing, just to give people the opportunity to get racing. Up the front, it is Norman Clark, but now moving up quickly, we have Steve Hoppett up on the high line, and the 131 getting a good push from Paul Drady, and that car is looking a lot faster tonight. It's looking a lot better in the top end speed. I know Steve was having a little bit of a problem with the ratio last weekend, but it looks like he's just lengthened it a little bit, and it's working so much better tonight.
Yeah, I know he spoke to the Godfather, and the Godfather gave him a few little pointers, and it's definitely worked for him. We've seen him post up on his YouTube channel. He went out and did some testing post the 500 last week, and he absolutely blitzed the field in the one lap sprint. So it definitely looks like he's definitely got that Mustang sorted out.
Yeah, you can see that was qualified as well. He was right up there with his qualifying time over a single lap with no draft assistance, and that is always a good sign. If you can get a good qualifying car for Daytona, you can usually get a good race car as well. But it's all about getting that car's top end speed and getting it stable as well. That's the crucial thing now, is getting the stability of the car, and that's one of the hardest things to work out on a race car. I know the other night I was driving an Xfinity car around here at Daytona, and had just set it up a little bit too low. It was absolutely a rocket ship, but as soon as you got up onto the high line, it was like driving a 1987 NASCAR. It was absolutely incredibly scary. Four-wheel drifting around Daytona is not a fun thing when you have 2 or 3 wide. Somehow, though, didn't end up wrecking it, but it was every single lap I was clenching my teeth and praying that I would make it round the corners.
Yeah, fun times. While we just got this low, I might just run through the season, and just inform everyone of some tyre sets and different things, and our broadcast schedule, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be good to run through some of that tonight and get everybody informed of what's coming up on Checkered Flag e-streaming for the rest of the season, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. So next week, well, tomorrow night, of course, Daytona 500, 200 laps, 500 miles, 10 sets of tyres. That's what the NASCAR guys in real life get. So that's what we've got here. Then into March, after Daytona, we go to basically a 1.5 super speedway with the everything simulated 400, and thanks to those guys for coming on board it also this year. So if you need anything to do with simulator stuff, head to their Facebook page and check them out, because they've got some great deals at the moment. Then we're off to Las Vegas for 267 laps. And that'll be a twilight run into a night race, so be interesting to see how these boys handle the night. Then we're off to Phoenix on the 16th of March. Now all those races will be broadcast. Round 5 of the season, we head to Bristol. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, Carl, we'll be all with 3 wide as we go back here to the live action. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, just interrupt that. We just seen one of those Quantum Motorsports guys decide to have a look outside there.
Yeah, Luke Georgeson was just getting laps there, and they were running 2 wide up on the high line with Derek Jacobs back there. He just got a little bit twitchy as they were going 3 wide, and that's why I wanted to see that 27 car up on the high line to see how it runs, and just looks like it's a little bit less stable up on that high line. So maybe it's just a little bit low on the left front, because it's just gets a little bit twitchy. And once they got 3 wide, he started to really struggle as he gets very close to Steve Hoppett there, and it's not looking as planted as it was on the low line. So Derek Jacobs just struggling a little bit up high at the moment. That car absolutely great on the low line, just not looking as settled on that high to medium line. And will drop in front of the quantum cars here. He does indeed, as we've got some pit stops starting to happen as well. So we've got our first lot of pit stops happening. Phil Butler coming in, Quantum coming in. So Quantum have pulled the trigger here. They have decided it's time to pull into the pit lane and get some fuel and see what they can do.
Just watch Philip Butler here come into his pits box. Nice stop. Looks like it's only going to be fuel only. So they're looking at an alternate strategy. So they need to get out together, but they're a little bit straggly. Unless I'd say Phil, with Phil being sitting here for so long, I'd say he's got a penalty. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, that's not worked out very well. Derek Jacobs pulling it into the lane. But what that's done is those quantum cars coming in where they did sort of broken the pack up a little bit, and Jamie's just dropped right off the pack. Paul Drake now is just dropping like a stone as well, and that's put Jason Nicholas up into the lead of this race. So up 18 positions in the 72. Got himself right to the front of this pack. Very nicely done indeed. Jamie Nankervis absolutely working well. Jared Williams doing a great job of pushing along there as well. Those cars have caught back up to the main pack crucially here. So they're not going to lose too much time because they were just sitting in a bit of an unenviable spot there, and they could have lost a fair bit of time sitting that bit off the pack. So only about 30 odd laps, about 33 laps, 32 laps for those guys. So coming in relatively early in the stage there. So they decided to come in early and then try and link themselves back up and try and get some speed, those quantum cars. They need to work together now because they're only about half a length of the straight ahead of the main pack. They've got 3 cars working together, but those 3 cars need to absolutely push each other, and they are doing that at the moment. Brett Campbell just getting a big bump from Luke Georgeson behind. Those 3 need to really work tight and keep the speed up, because the rest of the pack will start to close in on them. And if they can close up and lap them, then it could be the end of their night. But if they can keep themselves linked together and keep up the speed, they could be good when everybody else comes down the lane. If people come in one at a time, and if they get staggered in the rest of this pack, then the quantum cars could be in a good position. But they need everybody else to come down the lane very, very soon, and for them to start losing a little bit of pace. So we get into the strategy side of things now, and yeah, Mark, the calendar coming up is going to be some exciting stuff, and going to the open setup as well is the day-night change is such a crucial part of the racing, because that changes so much of the car's setup. You've got to chase that setup as the race goes on, and there's a lot of things you can do in the pit stops to get that car a little bit tighter or a little bit looser, depending on how you want to do it, as the night starts to creep in from the daytime.
Yeah, definitely. The cars change a lot in the change in the transition of day into night, and again we've taken the time from NASCAR.
We're going to see, sorry Mark, just jump in, we're going to have a lot of cars coming down pit lane this time around. It looks like the majority of the field are coming in this time through, so keep an eye on pit lane, because it's about to get very, very busy. As they start pulling in, Paul Drady leading away, and Oh, gets contact with his teammate. Smith just goes into the back of Drady, doesn't close it up in time, and that is probably going to give Drady a penalty because he would have got a bit too fast into the lane, and that is disastrous for the two teammates there. They had a nice big gap, but Mark Smith just got a little bit late on the brakes and just got caught out there, and that's just caught Paul Drady out completely. And Drady there is going to be serving that penalty, unfortunately. So it's going to be a long stationary time as the rest of the field start to peel out here. And we are getting through to the next round of pit stops as the Valve Esports team come in to the lane this time round. And we are seeing a whole heap of other teammates coming in. They absolutely timed it to perfection. All four of those cars really close to each other, but absolutely got it stopped in time. So that's broken the field up, and this is what Quantum needed to see happen. The field is broken up now into separate little groups of cars, and this could be Quantum's chance to just close up the gap a little bit. And jumping to Quantum now, if you jump to Brett Campbell and those Quantum cars, they've caught up, and they're going free wide. Oh, there's a little bit of side-to-side contact with one of the Quantum cars. I think it was Tom Williams and possibly Luke Georgeson, Phil Butler, sorry. It was Phil Butler. He's caught up to the back of this little group, but they really started to get pinched up as they were catching some of the cars coming back onto the track, and it got very chaotic very quickly there. And now the field is incredibly spread out as they come through. We've still got a couple of cars that haven't made a stop yet. Jason Nicholas, Tristan Koch, Steve Hoppett all stayed out there, so they've got some good fuel runs for them.
Sorry, I was just playing with my timing screen. I just had it set wrong. It's been a long break since I've been behind the camera, so just fixing a few little things up as on the fly before tomorrow night, so I do apologise.
Getting distracted there, Mark. We got Jason Nicholas and Tristan Koch into the lane with Steve Hoppett, so a few of those final pit stops happening. This is going to shake things up a little bit because it's Scott Lefborough up in the lead now, and three of those cars linked up with each other. Three of those Valve cars linked up with each other nicely. Jamie Nankervis just getting caught out. Sorry, not Jamie. Who was it?
Jared Williams.
Yeah, Jared Williams. He's just got a little bit slower out of the lane, and he has just missed out a little bit there. So we continue on as Paul Drady charges along now, and he is going to be ruining that little mistake in the lane, because that's dropped him off the lead lap as the rest of the pack come flying past him at the moment. Up in the lead, it is the 66 of Scott Lefborough with Jamie Nankervis and Norman Clark. They are linked up nicely at the moment, and how can they do, because they're going to have a big group of cars behind them. And I said watch out for those Quantum cars. They came in early, and it has worked out very well for them. They've managed to keep the speed up. Brett Campbell, Tom Williams, and Luke Georgeson just a little bit further back there with Phil Butler. Those two are off the lead lap. But Campbell and Williams have absolutely kept themselves right at the front. They're leading the pack at the moment, and they are going to be closing in on the Quantum guys, trying to get that gap closed up as quick as possible so they can get this race underway. They've got about 2 seconds to make up at the moment, but they need to all be working in a group at the moment, because if they start battling, if they start side drafting, could be the opportunity for those three Quantum cars up the front to those three Valve Esports cars up the front to just leap away a little bit and get a bit of a gap and get themselves in a nice spot for the finish of the race. A little bit further back, Wayne Van Billion is leading the rest of the group. He's with Justin Allen. The two team cars there running nicely in pack. The VSK Cinema Sports cars running nicely in pack. Very nice paint job as well. They are leading at the moment, Luke Yeager and Jason Nicholas. So those four need to get a bit of a wiggle on as well to try and catch up to the rest of the pack because, well, they're sort of a bit spread out at the moment. And this could be the opportunity for Valve to just get a really strong finish here tonight if they can keep this lead up, which they are doing a great job of at the moment. Lefebvre, Nankervis, and Clark are really working well with each other, and all that practice of bump drafting is paying off up the front because they are doing a great job of getting the lead and getting themselves away from Brett Campbell just behind them. The gap has grown now to 3.4 seconds. So keeping our main pavilion at the moment. Down there in 9th position, trying to close the gap on the secondary pack there. And if they can close up, they can get one big stream of cars, and that will help them close to the front. But they all need to work together here, and that's going to be a crucial part. Working together is such an important part of pack racing. And you can see Brett Campbell trying at the moment to get this group formed up nicely, but they're just having a couple of little moments off the corners and just getting a little bit squirrely. Whereas up the front, Lefebvre, Nankervis, and Clark are doing a fantastic job of keeping themselves linked up, constantly being some of the fastest cars on track as well. And they are building the gap here in the lead with 14 laps to go. They have a good 4.2 second gap over Brett Campbell. So really great job here from all three of these cars. It's a shame they got to split up a little bit on pit exit. That fourth car would have been very handy indeed, but they are doing a great job with just the three of them.
Yeah, 15 laps to go. We've had a great, no cautions, which has been fantastic. Seven lead changes and 7 different leaders of the race. So some great racing had here tonight, even with the numbers a little bit down.
Yeah, we've seen this some really good racing. You only need 2 cars to have a good race, and luckily we've got 19 out there, so they are giving us some great racing at the moment. That secondary pack now being led by Luke Georgeson, who is a lap down, remember, but they are trying to close in now. They are really trying to link themselves up, get themselves in a position where they can close that gap as quickly as possible, but it's not quite working for them. The cars that are closing the gap is that Van Billion, Justin Allen, Jaeger, and Nicholas. They are doing a really nice job here at the back, working really well together and closing in on the rest of the field. All 3 manufacturers in a line there. We've got the Mustang, we've got the Toyota, and we've got the Chevy there at the back as well, and they are doing a good job at the moment of closing in on the rest of the field. They've got about 5 seconds to make up, but they have managed to bring the gap down a little bit every couple of laps. So if they can continue just closing that gap, then they can all link up together and maybe close in on these leaders, but it's going to be a tough call to close in on this lead pack of Lefebvre, Nankervis, and Clark, because they are just absolutely nailing this super speedway at the moment and doing a great job of running as a team, absolutely in unison.
Just jump on board here with Lefebvre, the lead car. So just bring up some, see what speed he's doing for a lap or so.
And we are back. So, really good run there. We saw Carl Needler just getting past and dropping down a lap. He sort of got nobody to work with and didn't manage to link on to the back of this lead pack either. But they do not need it at the moment. With 9 laps to go, they are absolutely flying. This secondary pack here still being led by Luke Georgeson in the Quantum Team car. He has got just behind him Tom Williams. And they're trying to get themselves linked up and working together, but it's not quite working still. They are closing the gap a tiny bit. They've brought it down to 4.9 seconds, but it might be a little bit too little too late. If they can get themselves really linked up here, they should be able to close it in, but the cars are just looking a little bit sketchy and just not quite sitting in the perfect spot for them, and they're just losing a little bit of pace as they go along. As they go past Needler there. And again, he sits in a nice position there so he can link onto the back of this pack. I think he saw his mistake as the leaders went past, and he has chosen to link up on the back of this group to keep himself ahead of some of the other lapped cars. What Curvis, Lefebvre and Clark will want to see are these guys battling, and they are. They're just constantly sitting out of position. They're squabbling with each other, and as they do that, it's allowing those leaders to just run away with it at the moment. With 7 laps to go, it's currently a 3-horse race.
They are slowly closing.
Well, they've dropped back again now, Mark. They dropped about a second in that last lap when they all started swapping positions. So you can see there on the gaps, just not quite got the right information. Oh, that's Tom Williams. Yeah, that is the correct information. No, that is the wrong one, because there's about a 5.4 second gap behind them. So it might be showing the car in front, not the car behind there. It just a little oddity in our timing software. It's all about clicking those right buttons, and well, we've come back from a long break as well, so it is very easy to click the wrong little bit, and for these things just to have a couple of little bugs and things like that. So apologise about that. But you can see on the top ticker the gaps from the leaders to the cars behind, and it is a fairly big gap. And there we go. You can see from Jared Williams to Tom Williams, the gap there about 5.5 seconds now, and it's really not it's ebbing and flowing a little bit, but it's keeping around that 5 seconds, and with 5 laps to go, it is not looking good for them to close up to the top 3 at the moment. The second little group that's going along with Justin Allen, Wayne Van Billion in the lead, they've not really been able to close in either, unfortunately. They've sort of been stalled out there as well, not able to close in on the rest of the pack. So it's going to be a race for 4th position a bit further back, the top 3. Which one of the Valve Esports cars is going to take that? That's going to be the big thing there, to see who can actually who can get that one in that little group.
Well, I can tell you that prior to the race, I ducked down and had a quick word to Jamie, and I said to him, just remind the boys top 3 to the broadcast booth post race for an interview, and he said we're quite confident we'll see you there. The 3 of us will see you there after the race.
Yeah, you can tell there's that confidence in that team, and that car is looking very good indeed as well. Really looking very planted. A little bit further back, we've got some good pack racing going on. Derek Jacobs jumping up to the high line, trying to get himself into the lead of this group of cars, trying to get himself further up for the start of tomorrow's race. He's got Matty Hunter right behind him. Matty Hunter up 13 positions in this race, having a great run in the 48, and all the rig rust is not showing on Matt Hunter. He is absolutely flying out there. Gives Derek Jacobs a nice big bump draft down the back straight, absolutely pushing him along. And they're going to drop down low, surely. And they do drop down low in front of that low line. Really great bit of bump drafting there. Great pushing up to the front with Jacobs and Hunter And those two have found themselves a little alliance, and they're working together very well at the moment in the lead of this secondary pack. The cars behind them, you can just see just dropping off now as they hit the air and just fall backwards down the pack. I think it was didn't quite see who that was. I think it's Carl Needler just falling back there. He's a lap down at the moment. So they're all trying to work together. And, well, it's all going to be this battle here for fourth place. I think is going to be the mega battle. But which one of the teammates wants that victory? And, well, Scott Lefebvre is leading that group at the moment. But we've often seen at the 500 at Daytona, leading is not necessarily the best place. At the moment, you'd probably want to be Norman Clark, the third car in line, because you'll be able to get a great run, a great slipstream, a great draft, and get a run to the flag once it starts to fly. And we do not have long to find that out. 1.5 laps remaining. The white flag will be coming out very, very shortly here at Daytona for this. The
Lucas Oil's Cup Car Championship. It's been a long week already.
Aussie Outlaws.
It's been a long week already. What we're up to? I think this is our number 4
Yeah, it's
broadcast
been
for
a
the week.
few. For Shootout, that's the word I was looking for. It finally came. The white flag is out. So, which of these 3 cars is going to take the victory? We're going to find out in just a short couple of miles, and less than that now as they come around turns 1 and 2 for the final time tonight. Which one of these boys will take it? Will they do the honourable thing and let the lead car take it across the line, or will the racing driver kick in? You see Nankervis giving Lefebvre a great push there, and he is absolutely doing a great job. Norman Clark sitting third in line, thinking about getting the run here. Which one of them will take the line? Lefebvre dropping down low, and it's Nankervis getting a big run up top, and it's going to be a photo finish between the 3, and they get across the line in fantastic formation finish, and it is Jamie Nankervis taking the win here at Daytona for the shootouts tonight. Norman Clark comes home second with Scott Lefebvre in third. And the racing drivers kicked in, and they all swapped position. A little bit further back, Tom Williams did a great job for Quantum, coming home in 4th position and getting that car. Sorry, not for Quantum. Sorry, very similar paint job on that car. Oh no, it's Quantum. Sorry. It is Quantum, yes. Tom Williams comes home in 4th position. Derek Jacobs comes home in 5th. Brett Campbell in 6th. Matty Hunter 7th. Jared Williams in 8th. And 9th for Wayne Van Bullion, with Justin Allen in 10th spot. What a fantastic finish there. 0.03 of a second between the top 3 as they crossed the line. Absolutely nothing covering those 3, and it's just sorted itself out, and Lefebvre has actually got 2nd place. So it is Nankervis, Lefebvre and Clark taking the win here in the shootout, and they will be starting nice and high up in the pack for tomorrow's race, getting themselves there as they do some synchronized burnouts up at the top for the top 2, and Norman Clark just slinks off to get a drink.
Yeah, well, what a way to have a shootout. Definitely a little bit different. Sorry, just looking at some information here. A different way of running the duels. I think it may have been a better way to do it for us tonight. So, not bad, I think. Say, Carl.
Absolutely, a entertaining race there. A nice little amuse bouche of what we're going to get for tomorrow for the race. A nice little appetizer for tomorrow's big event. And look, if Valve Esports can get another great pit stop and get themselves a lead like that tomorrow, they are going to be incredibly happy. But I don't think it's going to come that easy in the 500. It never does.
No, definitely not. And look, as I said earlier at the start, we've definitely got some guys missing tonight. Another two Americans to come in tomorrow night. Uh, the SRM boys are missing, so look at them to come in. Um, and so we've still got a few races to come in that just haven't been able to make it tonight. One thing at the end of the race there, Carl, Brett Campbell, fastest lap of the race on lap 12. He'd be definitely happy with that, of 45.5. So great to see him up there with a fast lap for the night.
Yeah, some good speed in those quantum cars. They are not slow by any means. So we know we've got some very good race cars out there, and it's going to be interesting to see how they all go for tomorrow's big race. Let's run through those results one more time. It's Jamie Nankervis taking the win here tonight, with Scott Lefebvre in second and Norman Clark in third. Tom Williams in fourth. Fifth for Derek Jacobs. Brett Campbell comes home sixth. Seventh for Maddie Hunter. He'll be delighted with that. I'm sure getting a top 10. Jared Williams in eighth. Ninth for Wayne Van Bullion. And Justin Allen in 10th position. So we roll over the pages. Luke Yeager and Jason Nicholas in 11th and 12th. 13th for Mark Smith. Tristan Koch in 14th. 15th for Steve Hoppett. Luke Georgeson 16th. 17th for Phil Butler. Carl Niegler in 18th position. And Paul Drady at the back after a collection in the pit lane. And, well, we've not seen that pace of that car in full action tonight, Mark, because we saw at the beginning of the race, Drady has got a very fast car. So expect him and Smith to be working a little bit better tomorrow, and they will be well up there in the pack as well.
Yeah, definitely will be. Sorry,
So,
I'm just working. Matt's done some changes to our overlays, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to work them out, and I've got it sorted now, so I'm back.
yeah,
So,
it's been a lot of learning this week and these past couple of weeks, getting everything back to working conditions.
and until you actually do it in race conditions, it's a little bit daunting. And now that I've worked it all out, we're good to go. So,
Well, I'll remind you of that tomorrow when you're going, oh, which one do I press now? So let us grab up our third place finisher, and we'll have a quick chat to the 09 of Mr. Norman Clark. And I'll need you to do that, Mark. Thank you. And it is Norman Clark. Norman, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here for the shootout for Daytona tomorrow.
Hey, God, yeah, thanks. Thanks for that.
Making a habit of getting up here in the booth in this last couple of weeks, Norman. Congratulations on another strong result. And the car is looking very good tonight indeed.
Yeah, first run out in the Toyota. At least I'm not running that leaky valve Chev at the moment. So good run in the Toyota, something new for me. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And we saw there at the end, were the gloves off for all three of you there, or were you just trying to get a nice formation finish?
We were more or less trying to get a formation finish. I was trying to, I wanted to give him a full go, but the boss man said, hang on a sec. So just sort of, we try to make it a three and, a three car across the line. But it just so happened Jamie ended up nosing ahead of Scotty, but yeah.
It's absolutely a great run there at the end. And, well, it's a good sign for tomorrow's race as well, Norman. So hopefully we're going to see all of your cars working well tomorrow, mate. Before we let you go, the quick shout out to personal sponsors and people in general will make Jamie do all the hard work with the team sponsor stuff.
Yeah. Well, shout out to you guys doing the broadcast and the commentary and all that. And Scotty, he did a good job. Still being quite new, he did a real good job. Hats off to Jamie for pulling it off there. And as you noticed, I never did any burnouts because I got to use the car tomorrow, and they've already blown their motors, or one of them did. So yeah, valve,
I did notice that one.
everything simulated, and yeah, that's it.
Great stuff, Norman. Good luck tomorrow, mate, with that nicely warmed up race car with no burnouts on it. So expecting to see it run well.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks for that. We'll see you tomorrow.
Norman Clark there, taking home P3 tonight. Next up, it's Scott Lefebvre coming up in the booth, and first time up in the booth as well for the 66. Scott, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a second place finish here in the shootout for tonight for tomorrow's big race.
Thanks, guys. It's good to be up here.
It was a fantastic run tonight. We've seen you getting to grips with the oval side of things, and it looks like it's coming along nicely, especially with tonight's performance.
I wouldn't read too much into it, but yeah, things are coming along. I've had a good week so far, made some mistakes, but it's working on those 1%ers. And a bit of luck.
Absolutely. Look, a bit of luck is always needed on a super speedway. It went very well tonight. Obviously, looks like a fantastic formation pit stop for all of you tonight, and you absolutely nailed it this evening.
Yeah, it is something we work on in practice a lot. Every track that we go to, we make sure we practice our pit stops, and yeah, it helps.
How are you feeling with the bump drafting and the super speedway action now? Obviously, getting a few races under your belt on the super speedway sort of things, you must be feeling a little bit more confident for tomorrow's race.
Well, I've been to the school of Dr. Jamie Nankervis there, and I'm learning quickly.
You even survived with me pushing you the other night.
Yes, it is.
So you
Yes,
are
yes.
ready.
I was just going to say, Scott, you've since your first race in these oval races, I just can't believe how quick a learner you are, and you've got to be careful now, everyone around you, because you are quick.
I'm going to pop my head up, and yeah, you'll probably get it chopped off at some point. But as you boys have seen this week, I've made a few mistakes, so I'll go away and we'll work on those, and hopefully just progress through the year. And thanks to our sponsors, everything simulated in RSW graphics. And yeah, boys, hope to see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, I just want confirmation on your surname, because I'm sure I've been
I've been looking forward to this bit.
Wrongly.
Well, I say Lefebvre. It's pronounced Lefebvre. There's supposed to be a gap between the LE and the Febber. So however you pronounce it, as long as it's up the front, I don't mind.
I will try and keep it pronounced correct. Scott Lefebvre there. Thank you so much
Thanks
tonight.
very much, boys.
And we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Will do.
And finally for tonight, it is the boss man of that team, Valve Esports. It is Mr. Jamie Nankervis. And, well, he promised he'd see you up in the booth afterwards, Mark. He fulfilled that promise. Jamie, congratulations tonight for the win here in the shootout.
Hey, guys, how we going? That was awesome.
So was the command on the on that last lap, boys? Just make sure to press the brake a little bit as we get to the line, and you just didn't give that brake a little bit of a press.
Might have been.
Look, a fantastic run there at the end. We're talking to Scott just before. Absolutely nailing that pit stop was crucial, and you boys, well, three of you absolutely nailed it. We did see Jared just missing out a little bit on the exit, possibly.
Yeah, and we couldn't wait for him. I knew we'd actually called to pit a lap prior to that, but just with who was going in, the cars around us, I said to the guys, no, just hold out for one more lap, just do one extra lap. I just wanted to get that little bit of a gap. And if we nailed the pit stop, we come out of the pits 2 seconds in front of the car behind us, hooked up pretty quick, and then just drove away from them.
Yeah, it was an absolutely picture-perfect drafting action with you three at the front. You nailed it tonight. Obviously, the car is feeling pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, as you know, we've had a lot of hassle with this car over the last week or so. I think we might have ironed it out. I think it's a pretty quick thing in a straight line.
You think it certainly looks like it.
Yeah. No, we've definitely got the pace back there, and it was comfortable. So it was good. We had Scotty in there who was sort of coming up to speed and doing an awesome job, and just held it as smooth. Couldn't ask any more from him. And then, of course, Normie, the wingman, always there. He's always there with us, so that's good.
Absolutely. It did a great job of leading you guys up to that finish as well. And, it's good to see the guys getting very comfortable in the team as well. And as you said at the start of the season to me, a couple of these guys new to the oval side, they are learning very quickly. And that's always a scary thing for us people that have been doing it a while. And now we have some competition coming up.
Yeah, that's why we almost sort of paired off at the start of that race too. I don't know whether you noticed it, but Normie took Scotty and I took Jared, and we just sort of just drove around coaching at the time and just sort of helping them out with lines and a bit of coaching as we went. So I think that paid off as well.
Absolutely paid off, and hopefully all of that practice, all of that work is going to pay off for tomorrow's big race. How are you feeling heading into the 500?
Well, we're put in a good spot to sort of stay out of trouble at the start of it. It's a long race. We'll chat about it as we go, whether we sort of stay up there, drop back, or whatever we do. I think it'll just be depending on who's around us and how comfortable we feel at the time on where we sit on the track.
Well, good luck for tomorrow, mate. Hopefully we can see a lockout of the podium positions once more. But before I let you go, it's your big job to give a big shout out to all the sponsors now, because you're the highest finishing car.
Yeah, thanks. Of course, Valve Esports. This team is awesome. They're really behind us with anything we need to do. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes, of course, during the week to get that car up to pace with the whole team. So that's been awesome. Everything's simulated, of course, who have jumped on board not only with me or our team, but also the league this year as well. And RSW Graphics for all our lovely car designs. So thank you to the sponsors. And of course, thank you to you guys for putting it on.
You're always welcome, and those cars looking absolutely fantastic as well. I love the orange, green, and white. It's absolutely popping out there. Congratulations tonight, Jamie, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back up here tomorrow night for the 500.
Sounds like a date. I'll see you then.
Jamie Hankervis there for Valve. A fantastic finish there, Mark. Great race, and well, you've got to say those cars are looking very, very strong.
They definitely are. And before we shut down for the night, Carl, we might just grab a word with our pole sitter for tomorrow night. Didn't have the night of racing that he wanted to have tonight, but I'll leave it up to you as I bring up Mr. Paul Plucker Drady.
Paul, welcome to the booth, mate. Not the night you wanted. I'm sure the team debriefing room will be an interesting place to have a fly on the wall moment tonight.
Yeah, we're going trucking. So we had that moment during the race, and we've had a look at the replay. We've actually had a good chuckle about it. So we don't take it. We're all steamed. We're distracted with pit stops. There's a lot talking. Pit stops that weren't happening and stuff. So we got in there, and Mark was just a little bit hot. It is what it is. So the Lucas Oil Chevrolets are fast. So I think we'll be okay for tomorrow.
It just looked like it just nudged you a little bit above the speed limit. Is that what gave you the penalty?
Yeah, 20 mile an hour. So I was pulling up into before the line, and I think I was doing about 65 mile an hour, just slowing down enough, and then it just shot back up when the car jacked up off the ground. So it's like I said, there's a lot going on with these pit stops. We just needed a couple more stops for practice, and I think we'll be fine for tomorrow. We've tried a couple of different things on my setup versus Mark's, and see where we're at for tomorrow, what we can do, what we can't do, and how the fuel mileage is. And we learned a bit of stuff today, so I think tomorrow we should be in good shape, regardless of where we're starting or where Mark's starting. So we'll try and get hooked up, and if we can't, we'll just work with the guys around us.
Absolutely. It was looking like a rocket ship tonight. We saw it up the front running very, very well in the early stages, and that's always a good sign in this race as well. Of course, we're not having to worry about your starting position tomorrow. You sort of were able to use this as a little bit of as you said, a little bit of a test session as well to get an idea of how the car's running in the pack, and that's always a nice thing to have a little bit of that information heading into tomorrow, and builds up that bit of confidence, I'm sure.
Well, that's right. You don't get this opportunity when you go straight in the race. So being able to run the dual, the plan was always to run something a bit different. We did a bit of testing early on in the week, and we figured we're going to go separate ways. Mark with a more sort of standard setup, and mine a little bit different with some things we were trying. And it showed some promise. It's a little bit thirsty on the fuel, but we'll have a chat about it later on and see where we need to be. I think we'll be pretty close. So, out front, it's all about saving fuel. So it might become one of those silly fuel strategy deals where we're just slowing down enough to save enough fuel, so our stops are shorter. That's how these cars race. That's how the races play out these days. So unless someone's out there just dragging the line along and sacrificing themselves, I think we'll see 180 very pedestrian laps potentially, and then the last 20 it'll just be game on, whoever's left.
Absolutely, we saw that in the full metal version of the 500 as well. Everybody trying to do the slowest lap humanly possible out there, but you have the fastest lap in qualifying. So obviously the Chevy is absolutely planted. That Lucas Oil's car looking really fast out there, and you must have been so happy getting that pole position and getting yourself locked in up the front for the start of tomorrow's race.
Yeah, pumped, surprised. I thought a few cars would have been a little bit quicker, but a few of us, myself, I'm not usually a big qualifier on these super speedways, so I tend to race fairly well and get hooked up with some good guys. And if I can stay clean throughout races, truck race we had a few weeks back, stayed clean for the whole race and just managed to get ourselves in position. So tomorrow's going to be the same. It's just, it's nice to start up front. There's going to be some shuffling. If we don't get these pit stops nailed, it doesn't matter where you start. So, if we can get them under control and just get in and out of pit road efficiently, we'll be in pretty good shape. And again, depending on where the yellows fall too, if they do come.
That's it. And you've got the crucial information of no bump drafting in the pit lane now, so that doesn't work. So none of that tomorrow.
Well, that's not ideal. So,
look, congratulations, Paul. Before I let you go, with that pole position, give a shout out to all the sponsors and anybody out there you'd like to say hello to tonight.
Yeah, no, of course, Lucas Oils, Pluckers Racecraft, which is my own business, which bring in a lot of drag racing, safety gear and other bits and pieces, Penske shocks, Impact Racing, QA1. Mark Smith for being a crazy teammate. So it should be fun tomorrow, and we'll see how we go.
I'll shout out too. One of the sponsors that he's forgotten is the Outlaw Slots.
Yeah, she's going to shoot me now, so I'm waiting for someone to come in and flying in the room and smack in the back of the head. So
that skillet's going to come in handy.
Yes, I'm going to go run and hide.
Well, if we don't see you tomorrow start of the race, we know what's happened, Paul. Congratulations on that pole again. Good luck for the race, and hopefully we'll be seeing you afterwards back up here in the booth at the end of the 500, mate.
Let's hope so.
So we are all done and dusted tonight, Mark. We know what the grid is going to look like, but we do not know how the race is going to finish. Make sure to join us tomorrow night at
about 10 to 7. We'll go live.
So join us all there for that one, for the 500, for the Aussie Outlaws 500. And, it's going to be an exciting one indeed, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, we're missing all the SRM boys tonight. They've been strong in the previous Cup races in like the Anscar 500, so they were strong. Their qualifying has been strong, but unfortunately without running tonight, they will be starting from the rear of the field. And our other two Americans that aren't here, Russell Bratka and Brian, who is a US Marine, so he's had a few other commitments this week. So, but I know he should be free for tomorrow night's race. So, definitely a good field and a strong field tomorrow night.
We look forward to seeing you all there tomorrow night. Well, from myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, and of course, Mr. Mark Johansson doing all the hard work in the background as well as commentating. We will wish you a good night here on Checkered Flag e-streaming, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the Daytona 500.